The Jeep's tires kicked up a storm of sand as it roared down the beach. They didn't slow, didn't look back. I just stood there, a towel wrapped around my waist, fists clenched tight enough to ache. Salt burned my eyes, but it wasn't the ocean that stung, it was the laughter. My sister-in-law's bright and carefree, my wife's brittle and forced. "Good luck getting home," she called out through the open window, voice slicing through the wind. The words stuck to me like salt, bitter, raw, alive. Then they were gone. The horizon swallowed the Jeep, leaving me alone with the hiss of waves and the weight of realization. No phone, no wallet, no shade. Just betrayal stretching out in every direction. I stood there, sunburned, humiliated, and strangely still. Somewhere between rage and silence, I decided I wasn't going to chase them. Not yet. Because good luck cuts both ways. Before that day, I thought I knew them. My wife, Claire, and her 3 sisters. They were my family, my foundation. But the foundation had been cracking for months. I just didn't want to see it. It began with tiny omissions, not lies, just things left unsaid. Claire's stories of loyalty, of how family comes first. Her sudden detours on the way home. The phone she never let leave her hand. And those looks, shared between her and her sisters, brief but loaded, like they were living a joke I didn't get. They said we were fighting about money. That was the story. But I knew her voice too well. There was someone else in it, an echo that didn't belong to me. Then came the gala. Her phone lit up during dinner, a name I didn't recognize, Jen. After that night, her warmth vanished. She became colder, distant. Every question I asked got the same clipped reply, "It's nothing." But omissions are quieter than lies, and much deadlier. That day on the beach wasn't an accident. It was a setup. They'd planned to leave me there. A twisted test, maybe, or a goodbye without the courage to say it. But I didn't break. I scavenged driftwood for shelter, collected rainwater in old cans washed ashore. The survival part was easy. The waiting, that was harder. When the tide receded, I found a half-buried backpack tangled in the mangroves. Inside were receipts, sunscreen, a half-empty perfume bottle, and a folded airline boarding pass. Claire's sister's name, wrong coast. They weren't heading home. I found a cracked motel phone 2 miles inland, rusted, barely functional, but alive. I dialed home, disconnected. That's when I stopped being the victim. I became the observer. Over the next few days, I pieced it together. The receipts told a story. Different cities, same hotel chain. Always booked under aliases. I started tracking patterns, tracing paths on paper scraps. One number appeared more than once, a Mexico City area code. I dialed. Her voice answered. Cold, calm, comfortable. "Daniel," she said softly. "Yes, Costa Rica, this weekend." My jaw locked, my hand shook, but I didn't speak. I just listened. They weren't coming back. 6 weeks later, I arrived in Manuel Antonio. The air was heavy with rain and salt, the kind that sticks to your skin and memories. I rented a cabin near the mangroves, under an alias she'd never know. It was mine long before she planned her escape. A storm rolled in that night, thunder punching holes in the sky. At dawn, she came. Her hair was drenched, eyes wild, mascara bleeding into the rain. "Why?" she screamed. "Why are you here?" I didn't answer. I held out a photo, her passport, the boarding passes, and a picture of her and Daniel at a bar in Mexico City. Her face crumbled. "Please," she whispered, "it wasn't supposed to be like this." "Then, how was it supposed to be?" I asked quietly. She said nothing, just trembled. "I'm sorry," she murmured finally, voice cracking under the storm. I pressed record on the small voice recorder I'd brought. Her confession spilled out, fragments of guilt, regret, half-truths drowned by rain. When she fell silent, I set the recorder on the counter and turned away. She didn't stop me. As I stepped outside, the sand slick under my shoes, I realized something. Revenge didn't need noise. It needed absence. I sent the recording anonymously to her family that evening. Just a message. She's here. No context, no threats. Just truth, raw and undeniable. By the time she realized what I'd done, her phone was exploding with calls and messages. Her sisters, her parents, even Daniel. She tried calling me again and again. I never answered. Instead, I sent one final text. I'm building a life. Not from revenge, from peace. Don't look for me. Then I powered the phone off and left it in the surf. That was 2 years ago. Now I live on a quiet stretch of the Costa Rican coast. My cabin overlooks the mangroves, where the tide hums like a metronome. Mornings start with the crash of surf and the hiss of wind through the palms. The silence doesn't hurt anymore. Sometimes I see tourists walking the beach, couples hand in hand, laughter rising above the waves. I don't envy them. I've learned something deeper, that solitude isn't loneliness when it's chosen. I built this life from the wreckage of theirs, piece by piece, calm by calm. They say revenge is best served cold, but I've found it's best served quietly, by disappearing, by letting your absence become the one thing they can't stop thinking about. Because sometimes the most ruthless thing you can do is simply not come back.